you know what a phrase is? In English, what kinds of things are phrases? Thomas?
Something that either just has a subject or just has a verb, okay?
At least just has a subject, so give me an example.
I get my English workbook.
No, you can think of them. Besides, Mr. Lee would want you to know.
I'm lost.
You're lost, okay. Emma, did you think of one?
No.
All right. Brenda, did you think of one?
Oh, I'm supposed to think of one?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Give me an English phrase that should not be too hard. What do you think?
A bird in the bush is worth two in a row.
What do you think, Gabe?
A big tree.
A big tree. Good.
The lollipop.
Okay. But let's get something that's got a little more to it than that.
A bird in the bush is worth two in a hand.
Well, that's a phrase, or that's a sentence.
Two birds in the bush is worth one.
That's a sentence. You go, okay, listen, phrases are things like under the store.
Right?
Just under the store. Or
In the sky.
in the sky. Or in the ox gym. We use phrases a lot like that, you know. If I were to say to you on next Monday, where's the science fair? You wouldn't say to me, the science fair is in the auxiliary gym. You'd say, in the ox gym. Wouldn't you? I mean, that's just kind of the way we talk. If you say to somebody, how'd you do on the test? I don't know. That's a phrase. It doesn't tell us a whole lot. It just gives us a bit of information. Well, in math we have phrases as well. And the difference between a phrase and a sentence is the equal sign. If there's an equal sign, then it's a sentence. If it's just a phrase, then it's just going to have letters and numbers. It is not going to be solved. Gabe and Annalisa, what are you two doing? It will be things like x plus 4. That's a phrase. Or 7 minus 1. That's a phrase. You could even have a complicated one like 2x plus 4y minus 3z. That's a phrase. As long as there is no equal sign, it's a phrase. Now what we have to do is take English words and put them into mathematical phrases. So we need to think about what are some things that would tell us to do certain operations in math. Like what kinds of things would tell you to add? What words would you think of that said add? Rather. That's a good one.
Stay in the office.
All right, what other kinds of words tell you to add? When you look at a problem, it tells you to add. What do you think, Rochelle? Plus. What else? Increase. What do you think? Thomas? What?
Wait,
I didn't hear what you said.
I said
More than is a good one.
well, it's not subtraction.
Hmm?
Is that subtraction or?
Well, it could be. We put the than, it would be probably a subtraction. All right, what else do we have? Some. All right, well, let's think about words that would tell us to subtract more than. Right, Journey?
Less than.
Yes.
Subtract.
Subtract, that's a good one. Isn't used all that often, but it was a good one. Brenna?
Decrease.
Decrease. We are E. E. Okay. Thomas?
Difference.
Difference. That's the main one that tells us. Alex?
Did that?
Yeah? Yeah, that would do. Maddie? Minus. All right, what kind of words tell you to multiply? What? Of, yes, that's a real one we use a lot. Probably would have to have the times with it. Okay, what do you think, Tony? Product, yeah. Multiply, good. All right, what about division? What words tell us to divide? Divide. You got it in there. Okay, what else? Maddie? Quotient. Well, you're gonna find those in a phrase that would do, you know. Those are important, and they're important for us to know about division. Because which is the dividend and which is the divisor. That's one of the problems we have is we mix them up. Okay, but quotient, but another one would be part of. All right, well, have you got these all written down?
Oh, we're supposed to write that down.
Well, either that or you have to remember them. What did you say? Okay?
Can you move it over? That's like anything.
Wrong way? Is that better? Okay. At least I can see it today. I haven't been able to see it the last few days.
Couldn't you find a divide you could do over, because usually in like, a fraction.
Yeah, one over the other.
it's over.
And that does mean to divide, but we're talking about where you would find a phrase like, well, if it was just a straight division, probably you might use that, yes. Okay, now, the hardest part about this is remembering it is only a phrase. So you don't want to say to me, I didn't solve it, because yes you did. It's just a phrase. It's going to be things like this. The opposite of 3/5 of a number. Now the number is n. We don't know what it is. We don't care. We just want the opposite, which means we're going to do what? Put down an ace. So we're going to have the opposite of. Of tells us to do what? Multiply 3/5 of a number. The opposite of 3/5 of a number. Now that's a phrase. It's not to be solved. We don't know what n is. We can't find out n until we have something with an equal sign over here. This is just a phrase. That's all you do, is you just write down the phrase. Understand what I'm saying? Because I know that some of you are going to ask me tomorrow, but I couldn't find the answer. How do I find the answer? This is the answer right here. Okay, you guys do this one first. Ready? 7 greater than 8/3 of a number. 7 greater than 8/3 of a number. All right, is this what you wrote down?
Hold on. It's greater than this.
How many of you had that? Okay, we're on the right track here now. All right, so now then, you're gonna write this one down. The sum of 8 times the opposite of a number,
Wait, are we
And
supposed to
one.
do that in
what?
sounds?
We don't have to.
Or can you?
Yeah, you could. Bless you. All right, we have the sum of 8 times the opposite of a number and 1. This is a harder one. The sum of 8 times the opposite of a number and 1. What does sum tell you?
Adding.
Add, okay, so we're gonna add. And if you're gonna add, you have to have how many numbers?
2.
At least 2, okay? So we are going to have 8 times the opposite of a number. What would that look like? 8, 8 times negative n. This time it does have to be in parentheses, okay? 8 times negative n and 1. Now you might write this as negative 8n plus 1. Because we don't really like to have negative signs in the middle of our problem like that. We want them out in front. But you can multiply 8 times negative n and get negative 8n. All right, try this one. The product of 9 and the sum of 4 times a number and negative 9. Oh boy, you didn't get that, did you? All right, let's try this again. The product of negative 9 and the sum of 4 times a number and negative 9. The product of negative 9 and the sum of 4 times a number and negative 9.
Wait, there's 2 negative 9s?
Yes, there are 2 negative 9s. The product of negative 9 and the sum of 4 times a number and negative 9. Okay, they tell us the product. How many numbers do you have to have a product? 2, okay. And product means to multiply, right? So we're going to multiply 2 things together. The product of negative 9. Well, okay, there's one of them. Now we have to find the other number. And it says, and the sum. Okay, so we're going to multiply 9 times the sum. What is the sum? 4 times a number and negative 9. 4 times a number and negative 9. Now we've already talked about the fact that plus a negative is in very good form. So you would write it as negative 9 times 4n minus 9. These are not hard. They're actually very easy, but you have to take them slow. You have to read it many times. You have to watch for words like sums, products. It takes 2 numbers to do those. So you have to figure out what the 2 numbers are. The 2 numbers for the product are here and here. The 2 numbers for the sum are here and here. Any question about this?